Stand by for the opening night of the National Television Service.
Megan started going to therapy, and one of the things that we're doing is
tell us about what she says in therapy. Tell the whole audience.
no, it's about a game that we play where it's like this deck of cards that our therapist recommended she get, and it's like a thing where it gives you like a task and has like a time period, and there's like a goal at the end of it, right? And one of the tasks that we did was you take 5 sentences. You take 5 sentences to write a story,
and then you slip in the therapist $200 to put like fellatio, like slip like 5 like blowjob cards into that deck.
Hilarious. No, okay.
No,
it's like oh, you wouldn't get it. Never mind. But so the task was to write in 5 sentences or what was it? It was write about something that happened to you within 5 sentences, and then you have to write it in 3 sentences, and then 2 sentences, and then 1 sentence, and then 3 words. And like the idea is to like challenge yourself to break this story down. And I realized that I think that those cards are aimed more towards like women, because like Megan was like, oh, how do I shorten this story? And I'm like, fuck, 5 sentences? I have to make this last 5 sentences? Like I got 3 sentences in, and I was like, that's it, dog. That's the whole story. Versus she was like, 3 words, how the fuck? And I was just like, I got sick, done, you know? And that made me giggle.
That is funny. Yeah. That's funny to me. I don't know if I would say that it's like a gender.
No, it's not. I'm just being funny.
Like I would also have a lot of trouble getting it down from 5 sentences.
Do you really?
I've never tried the method before. I think that in general, I'm a little more. My area of struggle is probably like brief things. Is just like, how do I compact all of this information into 1 sentence instead of writing it as 3 like contingent?
You would have been great. And this is why you're friends with so many gals, Julian.
I know.
You guys love yapping.
Cluck, cluck, cluck. You know,
I have a lot of women hating jokes on the board.
Yeah, no, you, my friend.
There is Julia Child. There's therapy. I don't. Do you have something else? It made me really want to go into a
no.
Did you say the Julia Child?
Yeah,
you did already say the Julia Child joke.
I'm just saying. I've just noticed a pattern.
You were
recently.
talking about misogyny, and you got so excited about misogyny that you're like, let's dive in.
More so, I think I got a little I don't know what the proper like brain I got a hit of something in my brain from you laughing at that. I don't know what it's not adrenaline. Dopamine. I got a little hit of dopamine. I'm like, ooh, he liked that one. Let's try another one. You want to hear about Rosie the Riveter?
Do you want to tell me about Rosie the Riveter?
Yeah.
Tell me about Rosie the Riveter.
So Zack. I had a job I had to learn how to rivet at work last week. And the whole time I'm doing it, I'm thinking about Rosie the Riveter because it's like this big historical figure.
Yeah. And because the play we were in, I'm assuming?
No memory.
Yesterday, December 7th.
I don't connect those 2 things.
Oh, okay. Well, they are, but yeah.
Well, yeah, sure. But so I was thinking about Rosie the Riveter while I was learning how to rivet this. It was like a flap or something. Doesn't really matter.
Sounds riveting.
As I'm doing it, I'm like drilling it, and I'm like, oh, okay, that was kind of easy. And then like I take the rivet gun, I put the little rivet thing in it, and I go pop, 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 and then the rivet's done. I was like, oh, that wasn't so bad. And I was like, that's why they gave this job to the women. They're like, yeah, just I fucking god damn it. Okay. I hate myself. Fuck. God. Okay. No, I panicked. God damn it.
So can you explain to me? Can you explain to me your thought process? In 5 sentences, can you explain to me
I can explain
what went
it
wrong?
in 3 words. I hate myself. There, I'll go straight to the end. No, God. Okay, never mind. Fuck it.
Because
I don't know. They build up Rosie the Riveter as this like super industrious, like we can do it. Women are tough, and then like you rivet, and it's literally like.
And I tried to explain to him that the reason it's a big deal is because women weren't really allowed in those sort of workspaces. And it was like a big deal that now women are allowed.
I understand. It's just there's something funny about this like tough butch woman doing the simplest task and then everyone being like, America.
So you're saying if it was like, oh, women are finally allowed to teach in schools and the first job they give to the first female teacher is like pencil sharpener. Yeah. That's exactly what I was going to say. So you're saying that it's like, it's fucked up, but
I'm not saying it's fucked up. I realized
that you dislike women breaking into the workforce. I understand that part, but where I'm confused, no, but it's like I guess I think my first thought is how much harder was it to rivet? Like
Patricia, the pencil sharpener.
How much heavier was a riveter? Because you think like if you're doing like a big ship where you're definitely holding it above your head,
it was definitely harder. Yeah, no, they were definitely bigger and like air powered.
Like, I guess I'm thinking from my perspective,
probably
like
steel.
How much faster would I get tired than Rosie the Riveter? And I think much faster. I think she's better equipped at riveting than I am.
No, it was an arrogant comment.
Well,
it was just a thought of we built this whole campaign over like essentially taking lugs off of a tire. Like that's borderline what riveting is.
Wouldn't even say that it's like, it's not like the thought is fun, like the behind it of like when you pitch me like, oh, Julian, I riveted myself the other day and it was one of the easier things I had to do. So it's funny to me that this symbol of women's empowerment is doing one of the easiest things from my perspective that you can do in construction.
Anyone's perspective.
It's like anyone's perspective, right? But
anyone
like
in this room can rivet.
Yeah, and it's like that's the part that's funny. There's nothing that's like fucked up and misogynistic about that joke. You're trying to point out the hole where
it was gonna get
it's
worse.
Like, no, okay, for sure. I was gonna say the thing that was bad about it was the way that you phrased it is just kind of in this blunt way. And you might think like, oh, the same thing happened. Why does it matter how I phrase it? Like one phrase is just more honest, but I don't know. There's something
the phrasing matters.
The phrasing matters a lot.
That, yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, then I would say that the
problem
problem there is phrasing.
You're like diagnosing.
Well, but there's a lot of the time where I feel like I've talked about this before, but where I feel like I'm caught between a bit of a rock and a hard place because I'm in the room with my one other friend and our goal is to make each other laugh. And you'll say something to me and I'll be like, I don't think that's very nice to other people. I'm not going to laugh at that. I feel like I'm disappointing you by not laughing. No. I know I could. I mean, that's kind of the point, right? That's what makes it like.
The point's to succeed.
The point is to tell a joke that everyone can enjoy, and you simply did not do that.
Not everyone.
I mean, when you told me the joke the first time.
Yeah.
What was that, Megan?
When you told me the joke the first time, it just hurt my feelings.
See, so that's Megan. Would you say the other part of the joke that hurt your feelings?
No, I was just because
this is the very real end that I'm talking about. Is Zach? That's what your edgy fucking jokes do to people.
It wasn't edgy. It was a thought I had.
She doesn't.
I was riveting, and I was like, "Oh, that was easy." I made him
sleep on the couch because of our ideological differences. She just politely said, and it hurt my feelings.
Yeah, because I was getting like kind of excited. I was like, "Oh yeah." Whatever, the Riveter chick, that's cool. Oh, you
don't even know her name?
Rosie
okay.
The Riveter.
Sorry.
And then he pulls that out. That is super easy. And that women are weak.
I didn't say anything about women.
Yeah, you did.
What did I say about women?
That were weak. Because it's so easy.
I think the phrase was like, no wonder we gave that job to.
I might have said something on the lines of that it was like the equivalent of handing your little brother a remote control that's not plugged in.
You did say that. That is what hurt my feelings. That was the part. Yes. I couldn't remember. My brain
it was like yeah, you're helping.
Yeah, that's what hurt my feelings. That's what it was. That's fucking rude.
That's so fucked up, man.
Yeah, that's what he was saying during the war. That's
joking.
Women were about as helpful as your younger brother with a controller not plugged in.
Listen, planes helped a lot.
The thing is, they're like actually gonna start doing that in 10 years with the drone strikes and shit. Like, if you have a soldier who like you don't have any faith in, you can just hand him the controller to the drone.
You played Xbox, right?
You played it. Okay, this. You know, Call of Duty, when you get the bonus, it's like that, except more fun. Do it.
No, it's gonna. They still hand the dumbest people guns and go that way. That's where they send the real stupids.
Yeah, just over that hill. Whoever makes it, makes it.
When I blow this whistle.
Well, I wonder about, like, because I feel like even the most basic U.S. Army soldier is, and Megan, you might have more, like, info on this, but I feel like even the most basic soldier or whoever is outfitted in, like, $90,000+ of shit. Like, I don't think that it's, like... Even our like soldier that we have the least faith in, I feel like we're not quite like giving them I don't think anyone's cannon fodder, I guess, in the military.
Not in the U.S. military.
You have to take the ASVAB, and you have to score above a
Right.
certain score to be allowed on a battlefield.
Bro, imagine being too dumb to like hold a gun.
I mean, people that are lower on the ASVAB score, they do other sorts of jobs like, you know, stocking the vending machines.
So there's like the lowest thing you can be isn't like frontline infantry soldier.
Yeah.
It's like janitor or like commons operator or something like that. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So that's why the Navy has a lower ASVAB score, is because they have more positions that can accommodate a lower ASVAB score, not because it's inherently easier to be a naval officer. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can talk all you want about how dumb they are, but they did score a little higher on the ASVAB test.
Well, because for me, and well, like, maybe you want to keep talking about like the Rosie the Riveter thing a bit more, because I know how much you loved that, but it kind of segues into like my time. And I guess I don't actually have like a line for this like I do the rest of my things, but I was just thinking again about Edgy Jokes and kind of like, where does it end, I guess? Like, where does it end before you draw like a hard line?
Where is the edge?
Where is the edge? There we go.
Line.
Where's the edge? That's exactly kind of what I've been thinking, is just like, where's the edge and what's like, I mean, not just like what's okay to joke about, because I feel like you can kind of construct yourself rules around that. But I don't know. I've just been thinking about it a lot, because sometimes I feel like sometimes you will say something that's off color and it will start to make me laugh. And on one hand, it's like, why am I checking myself at what I'm laughing at? But on the other hand, it's like, I don't know, it's important, I guess. But then again, I don't know how much is censoring yourself at work for everyone else, and how much is changing you and the way that you think.
Did I have a conversation with you about it's too vague of a thought. I mean, I don't have a great response off the top of my dome. I do find myself like, I'll laugh at something and then I'll like break it down in my head and I'll go, yeah, it's homophobic. Like sometimes the only butt of a joke that will make me laugh is gay people are weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, I do have a little like, I'm not numb to that. I do feel the like conflict of my head of like, oh man, I wish there was something more clever than like, he's gay.
But why do you think it's like, I guess, so in a way the laughter is intrinsic, right? But what makes you think like, oh, that's just, it's okay because I'm checking myself, you know?
I didn't say that.
Or like, it's, you know, whatever, you grow to accept some part of it, even though it's still making you laugh, and you don't go to bed like feeling angry or ashamed. You're just like, oh yeah, I could probably describe it that way. Yeah, there's maybe some improvement to be done, but then moving on from it.
I mean, laughing feels good. Why do we have cell phones? You know what I mean? Because they feel good. Like we all take part in something that
different, but okay. Keep
all
going.
I'm saying is we all take part in something that feels good that like at some point does something bad for someone else.
No, we don't.
I mean, I get that you're drinking booze. I don't get who else gets hurt.
Me. Others when I drive home. Pedestrians.
Pedestrians mostly. No, it's okay. Julian crosses the toll bridge, so if he crashes, he'll only be killing rich people.
Yeah, that's exactly it. There we go.
It's actually a very socialist move to drive drunk on tolled lanes.
I kind of swerve my car into whatever I think. I'm like, okay.
Wait,
so
what's that? A fucking Mercedes?
Yeah, no, it's like, oh well, that's a new Prius versus the old Mercedes. You know, is he rich? He just hasn't upgraded, or is he like?
I'm like, is that a Rolls Royce?
No, but I guess I just think of it. It's like it actually
I
is
forgot your
kind of
initial
a
question.
Okay, so well, here's a good example. My initial question was edgy jokes :
Gay? No, okay, sorry.
See that was
Colon?
This is one of those situations where I'm like,
sex in
oh
the butt.
motherfucker, you're getting me. No, I got what you were saying.
So
You
do
do know
straight
what
people.
a colon is, though, right?
Honestly, could not
Yeah,
define a colon or a semicolon. Sincerely, could not even get a semicolon. No fucking idea. Colon, I use colons when I'm like making a list. Like I'll put the colon and then put my dashes.
Can you just
could not define
even
them.
fucking fancy a guess as to
So
what the
I think a
semicolon might be?
Here's the dude. Not okay. So, is it?
So what is a
it's
colon?
It's not a period. It's not a
No.
comma's like dude, I can't even define. I can define a period. I can't even define a comma. Honestly,
Okay, yeah, comma, but it's a period with a tail. That's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I use them. Could not. This is kind of like when you're learning
Not
a
to
new
brag,
language.
but used a few commas today.
When you're learning a new language, you like learn things about grammar that you don't even know about your home language because it's just like embedded in you. You know what I mean?
No, I for sure knew
Could
those
not
things
define a
about my
comma.
home language.
What is a comma?
It's a break in between a sentence. It's like if you were talking and you take a natural pause, that's where you should put a comma. But roughly, it's a break in between ideas to make a sentence.
So I do know
neater.
that if you use two commas, you use a comma to like sandwich something that doesn't have to be there. Like if you take the thing that's sandwiched between two commas out, it would still be a normal sentence.
Correct.
I do know
yes.
that, but a single comma, no idea.
It's literally just a break in a sentence.
It's very fluid as to what it is. It's more like there are places where you should put them. There's no hard and fast rule on where they need to go, like period.
You know what's always bothered me about English? I hate that you're not supposed to start sentences with and. I feel like that would make everything so much easier.
No, I'm
Are you pro?
You would put
I'm very
and
prone-
after a comma.
Yeah,
No.
unless you've already used
Before.
one.
no, not necessarily, but you could. There's definitely instances where you
Like
do.
you don't need to start a sentence with and. You could just continue a sentence with a comma.
But yes, exactly. Almost any situation that Megan's totally right. Any situation where you're thinking about starting a sentence with and, it makes more sense to put it at the end of another
But what
sentence.
annoys me is that you can only do that so many times.
Well, you also use comma when you're
That's
listing
more of a
things.
writing thing.
Yeah,
you
I know. It'd be easier if we could just
Well, if you're
That's
start
like
these
if I came
motherfuckers with
to
and.
your job and I was like, oh, I really like the wrench. It's just you can only use it for so many things. It's like, yeah, dog.
No, the difference dude,
it's not
on a
fucking
construction
meant
site
for a lot of
if
the
you
things you want to use it for.
Motherfucker, it literally is. There's jokes about using them as if you find something on a construction site that works really well for something that like you normally don't work it for, guess what that thing gets used as? Whatever
the
it's good
thing,
for.
yeah.
A crescent wrench is also a hammer, Julian.
No,
in
that
like 5 out of 10 scenarios. So if I can just start
I'm trying to
I'm done with
extend
this.
the metaphor.
I lost the I don't think it's funny anymore.
But more or less, I guess I just think about the Oh,
The
I forgot
fuck
what
was
I was
that
gonna say about
face?
the edgy jokes.
okay.
No, because I had a thing that I was gonna Oh, so it's like I don't know if you remember me talking. We were talking about. It was a long time ago. You were talking about Bo Burnham's Inside, and you were saying to me
That was a long time ago.
a long time ago. Yep.
3 years ago.
And you were saying to me that one of the songs at the beginning this kind of made you a little sad, right? I think it was the one where he's talking about like being a white guy in comedy, and the theme is kind of he doesn't have anything unique to say. And I remember you telling me that like because of where you stood in the world as a white guy who did want to do comedy, who you think you have unique things to say, that sentiment made you sad, right?
I have no recollection of that song or
Will
that
you
conversation.
trust me that that's pretty much what happened?
No, but continue.
So that's pretty much what happened. Zach was saying that because it's like a song
I don't
about
like you saying things about me.
how well, you got to remember shit then, dog. But it's
Motherfucker,
like,
you're pulling up a vague conversation from half a decade ago. The fuck?
remember.
It's 2024.
So,
The thing came out in 2020. What are we doing here?
I guess it was the sentiment brought to me is it was basically just jokes at your expense because of your identity, and you said you didn't like it.
I am 100% sure that I said at least one of those things ironically. There's no way I was sincerely.
There's no way that you were going off on like a fucking your ex-girlfriend said to me that you didn't like one of the songs, and then you gave that explanation. Exactly, the song is at the beginning. Yeah.
No, I wasn't. She was watching it in a different room. I was just vaguely listening.
The point is, this was an example in my mind of you getting hurt feelings from a joke. And I feel like it's the same thing when you make any sort of edgy joke. Is you're just
I get my feelings hurt from some jokes. That's some. I don't like this because it paints a very specific picture, and I can't defend myself because I don't know what you're talking about.
That's fair.
It's very unfortunate. But this is not
fair.
a good example
I don't
because of that.
Put words in your mouth, but essentially, so could you give me an example of a time where like
I got my feelings hurt?
Well, you got your feelings hurt from like a sentiment in media. I got roasted by a guy when No, that's personal. That's different. I'm talking about where you see something in media where it's like, I don't know, group of girls talking about like how stupid guys are, and you think like, we're not that stupid.
I saw a sign for like a. I'm not going to remember the exact name of it, but it was essentially like a social club for black kids. And I was like, oh, that makes me feel bad. You know, I felt excluded. Not that I wouldn't have gone to it. It was just the sign. I read it and I was like, oh, haven't felt that before.
That's not what Julian meant.
Oh yeah, well, motherfucker, I'm trying. He asked about sentiments in media. Is that not like
he means?
society?
Have you ever heard a joke and it hurt your feelings?
Like probably.
I guess there are times where I don't know if I hear like for example, if I see like
they'll more make me angry.
If I see like a girl online who makes like a joke about like how like fat dudes are like gross, I feel like this is a rare joke to make nowadays. But for example, if I were to see that, I would, even though maybe the joke is funny, I would just feel too insecure and hurt to really appreciate it. And I guess basically what I'm saying is I feel like it's the same sentiment, and that's where my conflict really comes down to in the edgy jokes, because it's not like you don't hit me with the reaction of like shocked and absurd and things that you associate with funny. I just can't help but think that I don't want to be this icky guy who's hurting people's feelings in like a group setting. I try not to even be this way for like straight white dudes, like groups you're allowed to make fun of. I'm pretty politically fucking biased, so I'll really lay into people with different political views than me. But even like, I try not to make jokes about like how ugly dudes are. Because you can make jokes about how ugly dudes are, but I don't think it's like right because you're just hurting people's feelings. And I guess I feel like every edgy joke is contingent with that.
I can't think of a specific example, but there have been times when I've heard a joke and I've thought, oh, I don't find this funny because it's close to home on X, Y, or Z.
Yeah.
But I also, dude, I don't like the way this is going to make me sound, but I also have a respect for being on the other side of that. I don't necessarily get bent out of shape. I'm aware of why a joke made me feel bad, and I evaluate the thing that happened to me that made me feel bad when that joke was made. I don't get hung up on the joke itself.
I have a similar thought process because at the end of the day, I will agree on the fact that my personal goal is to overcome the joke. My end when I get offended by the joke isn't that like, oh, they shouldn't have made this joke. It's like, let me overcome whatever's in me that's preventing me from laughing at that joke. So that's kind of the angle that I
thought
take.
in your head?
What thought?
Like I this is an opportunity to overcome something.
I would say that like kind of I have that thought in my head. Like again, it's just about like it's just about little insecurities. You know, if I hear a joke that makes me feel like a loser, or half the time it can even be when I'm not in the right mood, right? Like, you know, if I'm with my friends and we're like drinking and chilling, everyone's having a good time, my confidence is way higher than if I'm just at home by myself in a mood. So the context in which I hear things can also greatly influence my opinion. But yeah, I definitely think about how jokes make me feel and what verbiage could have been used to avoid how I'm feeling. Things like that, like what makes it an actual joke.
So the way I heard what you just said is that you try to think about how they could correct what they said to not hurt your feelings.
I would say that it is, I wouldn't say the emphasis isn't on them. The emphasis is, as always, it's on me. And it's like, what could I do in my own joke telling to prevent that kind of pattern?
Got you. Okay.
Yeah, so I guess that's where my thoughts really lie at the end of the day.
And what have you noticed that you can change?
A lot of the time, it's just what's about me and what isn't. Like, I will hear, like, you know, I feel like I sound like an incel with all of my examples, but you know, it's like I definitely
it's okay. I feel like a fucking.
I get insecure as like a dude, just as like a nerdy dude, and I'll definitely let that insecurity get to me sometimes. And so
hold on, you view yourself as a nerdy dude?
That's
so funny, Julian.
Zachary,
took you 5 years to go to college. You're like, I don't like how people treat me like a nerd.
Zachary, you're such a bully.
I'm sorry.
I wouldn't even say.
Do you mean a geek?
No,
Would you say
don't.
geek? Would you say geek?
Fuck it.
You're
I would
geeky.
say whatever shuts you up at this point, dog.
I'm sorry.
But like,
I'm sorry.
I would say
I have a
that,
lot
like,
of.
as a nerd, no,
I like
like,
you a lot, Julian.
Whatever. No, I like you a lot too, man. We're here for each other. We're here. I disagree with you ideologically so fucking hard, dog. Why would I be here if not for the human connection? Like, you think this is my pathway to success? Nah, man. You're my best fucking friend.
I continue. I feel bad now.
No, you don't feel bad. Don't feel bad.
Now I feel bad about my own joke. How about that?
It's just like, yeah, I will see myself as being like, I don't know. Something will tug on my insecurities. Usually it's insecurities related to like being fat or being a reject throughout high school or whatever the fuck it was, where it's like, that'll just harp on my insecurities. And at the end of the day, I'm like, no, well, those things aren't really real. I think that's kind of the way I overcome it, is like, no, that's an inaccurate way to feel, even because like you have like a lovely partner and stuff like that. Like she's not with a person who she views as like a loser, and just little things like that. But ways that I'm inaccurate, that's kind of what's predominant in my mind when I get insecure over a joke.
Inadequate?
Inadequate is a feeling that I'd say that inadequate for myself. Yeah, that's probably a pretty good way to describe it, where I feel like, oh, I'm definitely not like strong enough of a creative to like be successful at what I want to do, but I've also been too much of a fuck around in the name of like comedy that I'm also not a lawyer. Shit like that.
I was trying to get at not ways that you could correct yourself, but the way I interpreted what you said was that someone else says a joke and it hits you a certain way, and then you try to think about how you could change your humor to not have that effect on other people. That's what I was trying to get at.
Usually it's just about specific words, honestly. Usually it's just like in that Rosie the Riveter joke, which is like, but like in the Rosie the Riveter joke, you have a lot. You said something like, oh, like, because that's the only job they can fucking do. I forget exactly what your verbiage was, but it's things like that where I think
you and Megan both said that.
It's the vibe. You're putting out a vibe with the joke.
Okay,
People
how
remember
about the joke?
the
How about the joke
Okay,
is that's not the only joke they could have done, but everyone was like, hey, just keep riveting. How about that's the joke? The joke is that we made them do the simplest task over and over again.
Exactly what I was about to say is,
okay, but that's not.
Okay, would you tell me what you originally said then, so I don't get the specifics wrong?
I said that it's funny that they were like that they built Rosie the Riveter up as this like super hard like butch woman who is like, you know, all she was doing was just like
And then you said something along the lines of like you as a character from the 30s was like, oh, let's give them that job. That's the only one they won't fuck up, or something like that, right?
I said you're making a difference.
Like, yeah, something like that. Or the controller thing that you said to Megan, or things like that. It's like if you put the emphasis more on how society's fucked up rather than on things a misogynist would say about women. Because like I said about being your friend, I know you and I know you're not like you're not like a bad guy. But like, it's just one of those things where if you put the emphasis on the misogynists instead of the misogyny is what in my head played when you were talking about correcting. And that's kind of how I tend to correct things in my head, is I'm like, oh, you're pointing out a funny discrepancy. Take out the wordage that, you know, take out the wordage that makes you sound sexist and put in wordage that makes you sound progressive. Like, it's really not like rocket science. I'm just like, swap out bad sounding words for good sounding words, and you don't offend anyone now with the same joke.
Yeah, I think that matters a lot more in a different context. If you're going to like get in front of a microphone and say this to an audience, I think it's very different than regurgitating a thought we had on this type of platform where we're just goofing off.
Well, if you diminish this type of platform, like, yeah, I totally agree on this, our thing that nets like maybe 100 views an episode if we're lucky.
Even like, if this had 10,000 views, it's just it is different.
It's raw, Zachary. Just coming at you raw.
No, I despise you.
I'm trying to think of like.
Shut up,
Can I just say though?
You don't even know how to rivet.
No, I never learned how to rivet, but I was in the Navy, so fuck off. Anyways, I would like to say that Zachary consistently has misogynistic thoughts and views that come out of his mouth as jokes.
Views is a little different. Thoughts is honest.
But like ever since I started dating him, I legit am like, are you joking? I can't tell, because sometimes the things that come out of your mouth, I'm like, why would a normal human person think that thought and then speak it aloud? No, I don't have an example because my brain blacks it out. I swear to God, it does. I swear to God, you say some shit and I'm like, I don't want to remember that.
She fucking browns out the whole time.
She's like, he didn't say that.
No, exactly. But I
my
feel
boyfriend,
like,
he's a little sweetie.
He's such a good guy.
Listen,
guys.
I don't want to.
He's such a good guy.
You're like a girl like lying about like why her boyfriend's like late to pick her up. It's like, I swear he must be busy. He's right on time with all these things.
Oh God. Yeah, I'm dangerously close to being like labeled as like, I dislike when oh man, do you ever hear people talk about how they're like, people make jokes about like, oh, I'm crazy, or like people who want to be entertainers love describing their brains as like quirky or crazy or like, and it's so cringy. And so I don't want to comment on what you said because it leans into the like.
You're such a hipster, is what you are. You're a hipster. You're like, oh, it's
that's
not.
Zach's least favorite
Megan.
Thing you could call him.
I know.
He's
a hipster.
They're being hipsters.
No. You're a hipster.
I was
annoying
first.
No, it's not about me being compared to them.
He's a true hipster.
It's people love. There are funny people like a Theo Von character that are like fucking weird, you know what I mean? And it's very funny.
Right.
And so when people get described as, dude, you're weird, you have weird thoughts, people like
Jesse.
Suck
Jesse
blood
genuinely
out of.
has weird thoughts.
Jesse genuinely has weird thoughts.
He pulls that off.
There's normal people who desperately want to be whatever something like a Theo Von is, that when someone describes them as that, they're like, oh, yes, I have weird, crazy thoughts. I'm unique. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, like,
that's how I
when
feel.
you say something like, I understand it's not in the same vein. You're calling me a misogynist, but
much better. Much better.
Sincerely. But just it hit that fucking vein. Okay, here's an example of a joke that hurt me, right? She was fucking around, and I was like, oh, don't say that I have fucked up thoughts but then I don't know anyone else who says those thoughts. Like, how cringy is that to be like, I just say what everyone's thinking? You know what I mean? I don't want to be that guy. That's horrible.
You don't want to be Donald Trump.
No.
That's what Donald Trump does.
I didn't say that. Though.
You literally just said,
no,
okay, I can't remember the exact wording, but you said
it that way. I just mean you
I understand you didn't mean it that way.
That
and then you say them
out loud.
Zach, I feel
I'm basically a right-wing Theo Von.
Thoughts in their head. They're in their head thoughts. That there's a difference between
and
thought
because
and
of that,
aloud.
I'm super cool.
This episode is a lot of roasting you. We're gonna open the next one up on a roast of me because I brought a story that I think you'll like. That being said, that's exactly the reaction I get from someone who's like, oh, like, I need to push the boundaries in this way. Like, everyone else is too politically correct. And yeah, of course, I respect all types of people, but I know the right amount of politically correct to be. It's like, fuck you, buddy. You don't at all. You know, like, maybe there's someone, like, once in a blue moon, you have an artist who can truly skirt the line, but I actually get the exact same type of cringe from, like, no, I can't be fucking censored. Like, there's some words that are just honest, and I'm gonna say them because I know what I mean. And it's like, no, you could genuinely revisit that and think of 100 different, better, creative ways to say it.
We should make a tier list of, like, people we hate. I fucking hate anyone who's confident of themselves.
Girl?
I hate people that are confident. You don't know what you're talking about. No, there's like tiers of people. I don't know what a burn book is. Is that what you're laughing at?
From Mean Girls.
Oh, okay. No.
Oh my God.
What's a burn book?
It's from a
Quick.
movie.
No, can someone just fucking tell me what it is?
Write down all like shit about all the other kids they go to high school with.
No, not literally, like types of people. Like, I'm not going to be like, I hate Levy because blah, blah, blah. I'm going to say I hate people that are, I hate confident people. No, not specific people. I mean, like you wouldn't say Levy, you'd say Jews. No, I'm kidding.
You're such a hipster hater.
What was that?
You're such a hipster hater.
Hipsters aren't
okay, the other day, confident. Zach and I went out.
Uh-oh.
Where were we? Where were we? Oh, we went out to the crab pot.
Oh my God, I hate the crab pot. Fuck the crab pot.
Julian, I have never been more embarrassed.
It's not worth the money.
In my life.
Fuck the crabs and the pots.
First of all, whatever Megan's about to say, it's totally not worth the money. Zach.
It's not.
What happened?
It's half of it is sausage that's been sliced too thin to enjoy and fucking corn. They fill up half the bucket with corn and like empty seashells.
Yes, dear. All right. Also, the potatoes were undercooked. I was very disappointed with the food. That was not my issue. When you go to the crab pot, it's like fun. You like put the bib on and they like dump food on your table. I've never been before. Zachary refused to wear the bib. He complained about the cleanliness the entire time we were there. Julian, he would not let the man dump the fucking food on our table.
It's
he asked to keep the bowl. The guy literally had to like reset his brain. He looked like he was rebooting.
He was so stoked. He was like, here's your fucking bowl of, and I was like, let's not. Can we just keep it in the bowl like fucking humans? Here's the thing though. No, I'm not the crazy one here, Julian. Listen to me. You have a table that you're gonna eat off of. They take dirty ass menus, put the dirty ass menus on the table, and then they take them away like that didn't just happen, and then they dump like $80 seafood, just like, eat it, you pig. Would you eat off of a menu from like the Red Robin? No, because you're not a savage, Julian. You'd eat it off of a fucking plate like a goddamn American. I'm not crazy. That is a logically sound argument.
Things off of a lot of things.
Okay, bad example. Pretend he's not here. Pretend there's anyone,
I was so embarrassed.
Why? It kept the food warmer, too. If we would have dumped the food out across the table, it would have gotten very
cold.
cold.
The potatoes needed to be kept much warmer.
They were hard.
No, I know.
That
was exactly the last time I went to the crab pot. That was the final straw for me. Because you're fucking boiling potatoes and you can't even do that, right?
You can't boil them like for
so
5
Zach,
more minutes.
There are agreeable reasons to hate
Can
the
I
crab
rant more
pot.
I
about
don't
the
ever
crab?
want to go
Can I
back.
rant
I
more?
didn't like it.
I'm enjoying you ranting about the crab pot.
Inside of a crab pot, they put like mussels and clams, right? And as you're digging through this bowl of fucking slop, there's a bunch of empty seashells, and you go, oh, that's okay. They're probably going to be at the bottom. There's no fucking way the amount of mussels and clams that were at the bottom of that bowl matched up with the amount of empty shells that I had to fucking shuffle out of that bin. I don't really think that they're like throwing empty shells into the bowl, but it sure fucking feels that way. When you like spend $80 on a bowl of seafood and it's like undercooked potatoes, corn on the cob, sausage that's sliced like bacon, and then like empty seashells, and it takes you like an hour to shuffle through the basket. It's not a good time.
The crab was good though.
The crab was fine. And then like everything is like, it's like some weird seafood fucking Chuck E. Cheese where they have like big wooden carving like figurines inside of there.
We
like,
went to the Bellevue location.
They probably, I don't know what this
Weird
like.
seafood Chuck E. Cheese is how I'm describing.
Like you go in there and like you go into Chuck E.
stand
Cheese
with a promiscuous but fun lady.
You go into like a Chuck E. Cheese and they have like the platform where like the robots come out and dance.
Joke I don't like. The fish jokes. That's not a good joke. Keep going.
You know when you go into Chuck E. Cheese and there's like the platform with like the rats playing
I've never
music?
been to Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you know what I'm talking about. They have one of those in the main dining area, and it's not quite a platform, but it's like 3 to 4 feet deep where they've created like this baby Jesus in the like farmhouse scenario, but instead of like Mother Mary and the goats, it's just like a bunch of fishermen.
I like that it's crab Jesus and the cross has 2 extra crosses through it.
Crab Jesus is hilarious.
Just the little
The mega cross.
Well, you know what was funny is Zachary described it as like he feels like he should be like walking into an abandoned amusement park under a pier or something.
It did. It felt like an episode of Bob's Burgers. It was weird. The vibe.
Original crab pot in Seattle is under a pier with an abandoned amusement park.
On a pier, no?
It's on the pier, but it's like you go down. I've never been there.
Yeah, there.
But I feel like I'd like to try that one and see if it's
weirdly
similar.
wooden.
You can get more things there that aren't just the crab pot in Bellevue really emphasizes the big bowl of fucking crab. The crab pot in Seattle is like, hey, that's not the only thing we do, dog, and they will serve you food that's actually good
on a plate.
If the crab pot was like the entrance to a ride at Disneyland, it would be so authentically Pirates of the Caribbean that I'd be blown away. It's like grossly accurate to what it would be like to live on a wharf in the 1800s. It's not a place you want to go and spend $120 on seafood.
My man doesn't even want to eat seafood off of a menu. How would you eat anything at a wharf in the 1800s, dog?
Okay, I think I'm done ranting about the crab pot.
I liked
honestly,
what we
that
did
felt
get.
good to get out. I sincerely,
Who needs therapy?
When I hate something, it feels so good to shout at.
Megan, I'm glad you're doing good in therapy. We got this show, right, man?
Cheers.
Cheers.
I would like Zachary to go to therapy.
Nah, he's
That
fine.
would make me so happy.
I'm gonna cut that out.
Exactly.
Candles.
Therapy.
Exactly.
What?
Don't stop, we go straight to the top. Don't stop, we go straight to the top. I am that dude. I am that dude. I am that dude. I am that dude. I am that. Don't stop, we go straight to the top. Don't stop, we go straight to the top. And we all going together.